Thank you very much, and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being with us today during this workshop on how to give students analytical assignments in Blackboard using the self and peer assessment tool. This workshop is for 1 hour, and the agenda is really simple and straightforward. We're going to introduce the tool in Blackboard, the self and peer assessment tool, and then we'll go ahead and use it. We're going to have a hands-on example where I'm going to create self and peer assessment, and then we're going to all go ahead and do the activity. Please do not hesitate to stop me and ask questions as we go forward. All right, so what is the self and peer assessment that we have in Blackboard? It's one of these items in Blackboard, one of the interactive items that will allow you to facilitate an objective analytical assignment where students will have to answer a series of questions and then later on, other students can review the work of fellow students through criteria-based reference evaluation. Students can give and receive constructive feedback from each other. This will really enhance their ability to be able to provide feedback and ability to analyze texts. These are the benefits for the student learning. There are also like a couple of benefits when it comes to managing your course. You can use this with mature students to help you distribute the workload, the workload of the assessments in your course. All right, in a way that you can really give a self and peer assessment that is really designed well, and you can get the results of these assessments and use these result grades as the grades of the activity itself. We're going to see how this happens. One of the other benefit, of course, is that your students will be able to receive feedback from several individuals rather than from the course instructor. Also, this has to be designed in the activity itself. You need to make sure that when you design this activity to anticipate the type of feedback that the students will give each other. All right, so there are like many attributes to the self and peer assessment. The most important attributes that this assessment has specific date ranges and stages. So the assessment itself for the student has two stages. The first stage is the submission stage, and the second stage is the evaluation stage. So in the submission period, students will go and provide answers for the questions you have in the assignment. And then submission period ends, and then the evaluation period comes where students will have to evaluate each other. But also notice that this activity is highly controllable by multiple scheduling dates. So, and sometimes editing the activity itself while it's underway is restrictive. This assessment can provide anonymous evaluation. So students will not know who are they evaluating, and that will provide some comfort for the students who are actually providing the questions, the answers to the questions during the submission period, and it will avoid grade fixing during the evaluation period. It also provides self-assessment, and all these are optional, by the way. You can turn on anonymous evaluation and turn it off. You can turn on self-assessment and turn it off. And the self-assessment is good for reflections on the student's own assignment, own performance. I will ask anyone who's not actually talking to mute their microphone. Or I can go ahead and mute. All right. And in order to give your students a really good tool for self-evaluation, okay, you can use the ability to add criteria to really construct these criteria items very well, make it detailed, give them examples, okay. And however, at the end, like if you allow the self-assessment, students can actually grade themselves, and this could impact the integrity of the assessment at the end if you're going to rely on these grades. So there is like good and not so good stuff in it. With the criteria-based questions, these criteria-based questions will really provide means for objective evaluation. The more detail you give in your criteria, the more objective the evaluation will be. And each criterion will carry a specific grade. You can view the results on Blackboard. You can also download submissions, evaluations, and even average scores. And then at the end, you can choose to send the average scores to the grade center or override them. You can also archive the entire assessment outside of Blackboard and share it with other colleagues. So if you create a really nice SelfPeer assessment assignment, you can export it and share it with your colleagues easily. So these are the date ranges, okay? The first is for you to make the assessment available. So you can control the availability using the display after and display until. And we all know about the display after and display until. It appears with any item we add on Blackboard. And then comes the submission, start and end date. You need to specify the date range for this activity. So the assessment itself has two folds, a submission activity and an evaluation activity. And the submission activity, you will have to specify when it starts and when it ends. And you need to do so with evaluation as well. But this is the process timeline, okay? So the first thing you need to do is to create and deploy the assessment and make it available. Open it up for submission. Complete the submission. So this is the period between the end of the submission period and before the evaluation period, and then open up the assessment for evaluation, and then close the evaluation period and view the results. With each stage of these stages, there are some limitations on what edits you can do. I just summarized the limitations here. I'm not going to go over them because I really need the time for the activity. But with each one of them, there are some limitations that you cannot do. Like, for example, it's really logical when the submission period starts. You cannot delete the questions. Okay, it's the submission period already started. Okay, so the questions will stay. But when the submission period starts, you can change the dates for the evaluation, for example. But when the evaluation period starts, you cannot change the number of peers, for example. Every student will have to evaluate. When I publish this on Panopto, I will leave these slides as a resource. So that's everything about the introducing the activity itself. And now I think it's time to go ahead and do the activity. So everyone who registered in the course, I added them to a course site already. If you have registered using your AOS username and password. Some people who, and I have you over here in this course, and the course is called Introduction to Geography, Y20 Section 2. So go ahead and find this course because we're going to do something right now. Just make sure that you find the course under my courses. If you haven't registered using your AUS username and your AUS email, let me know. Just put it in the chat. I will be able to enroll you right now. And I know that at least one hasn't registered using their AUS email, but they are not here. All right. Let me also go through the users list and let me know if you do not see your name.
Walid?
Yes.
You need to register, Cindy.
All right. And here it is. All right. So it looks like we're
Walid,
all.
I'm missing Walid. K Fatah, FKFATTAH.
All right. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So
Thank you.
I guess all of us are there. All right. So let me go to the course, and I already created a this self and peer assessment. However, I'm going to go ahead and create it again. Okay, and then I will invite you all to do it. Okay. So let me. It's on the side, so I can copy and paste from it. Here it is. So we start by going under assessments and choose to add a self and peer assessment. And then we need to call it, we need to give it a name. We need to give this activity a name. And I'm going to call this teaching philosophy. And I'm going to go ahead and describe it very quickly. We're going to answer one question, not a series of questions. So this is this is just how it will appear to the students. This is the title of the assessment, and this is the title of the grade column that will be automatically created in the grade center. So I'm calling this activity teaching philosophy. All right. And now the start date of this activity, now it's 4/16, and I'll let you know like how this is really a little bit challenging when you go and figure out these dates, especially if you are training someone, because I'll have to do this in the next probably half hour. So the start date will be today, and I will leave 4/15, so it will start right away. And the end date for the submission, and I need to specify an end date. Otherwise, if I do not specify an end date before the evaluation date, it will void the activity and I will have to recreate it again. So 4/15, and let me end the submission date at probably 4:25, do you think? 4:30. All right, so I'll need to finish this before 4:30 to give you a chance to answer the question, or let me just do it 4:35. All right, and the evaluation date will start from, and this should be 18. This also should be 18, and this is 18. Everything is happening on the same day, which is not advisable when you do this for real. So you give like the submission period for a day or something, and then the evaluation period is something like that can happen on a different day. So this will start 4:36, and this will end 4:46. I'm going to allow anonymous evaluation, but I'm not going to allow self-evaluation. I'm going to allow you as a student who has been evaluated to see the results of your evaluation. And each one of you will evaluate 2 other students. Let me go ahead and submit. And I will make it available right away. Now I created the shell of the activity. I did not add questions yet. Now I will go ahead and add the question. And I have one question for you. I'm going to go ahead and create that question. And the question goes here. This is the question. What's your teaching philosophy? You can include a model answer for the students to look at while they are evaluating their peers. We'll go ahead and add a model answer here. And the model answer is available to students. I'm going to go ahead and submit. This is the only question. And with that question, I will go ahead and add the criteria. And I already have some criteria from the... Now go ahead and click Create Criteria.
Walid, sorry. Could you please add Muhammad?
I will do.
All right.
Sure. So I'll have this criteria. Let me first create a word count criteria. I will go ahead and say, for example, the points possible is 2 for this criteria. Recommended count of 300 words, and I will accept it with a range of 50 more or less words. Okay, and then I'll click submit. Then add an additional criteria, which is not a word count, but a specific criteria that I will have to word it. So for this criteria, I'm going to ask the evaluator whether the submission, I'm sorry, no, not the, this is the word count criteria. Does the teaching philosophy statement include own teaching values? And then will be 2 points, and it will be all or nothing. That means I'm not going to allow partial credit. And then I'm allowing the feedback to learner. So the learner will be able to see the feedback. Submit this. I'm going to add an additional criteria. And here, does the teaching philosophy statement include a brief description of at least 2 own teaching strategies? And 2 points, but I will allow partial credit. Here I said 2 own teaching strategies. So if it was 1, I would expect the student evaluator to give the student being evaluated 1 instead of 2. I'm also allowing the learner to see the feedback. Now I submit. If I go back, it will take me back to the assessment canvas with the number of, I can include many questions here, okay? But now for this activity, because I need to do it fast before when assessment information, before the submission period starts. And the submission period starts, yeah, it started now. And you have up to 4:35 to go ahead and finish this activity. And I'm just going to make this unavailable. So if you go to the course site, which is Introduction to Geography, you'll see assignments. Click on Self and Peer Assessments and start by clicking on View Complete Assessment. Let me now go ahead and There is a someone that I need to add, right? Yes. Okay.
Yes, yeah.
I see. Dr. Okay. Okay. You were raising your hand, but you lowered it. But anyone can come to the microphone at any time. So let me go ahead and find users.
Hey, Waleed, this is Cindy. So I'm clicking on this and I see teaching philosophy. I'm clicking on view complete assessment. I see the question. Oh, hold on. Never mind. I answered my own question. I couldn't figure out how to answer it.
Let me go ahead and do this together. So I'm going to take the assessment myself. Okay. So here I'm one of the students in the course doing the self and peer assessment. I will go ahead and click view complete assessment. This is during the submission period, which will end in probably 12 minutes. Okay. So I'll click view and complete assessment, and it says, question number 1, what is your teaching philosophy? It's a little bit tricky. The students will have to know that they need to click on this where it says question number 1. So they click question number 1, and then they will be presented by a box where they have to provide the answer. And here it is. Notice that the criteria for the student who is making the submission is not visible. So if you would like to share that, like these criteria, you will have to share it in an additional item, in a document that you can post beside or on the same page of the activity on your course site. So for this, I'll go ahead and get 300 words. This is my teaching philosophy. And then I will go ahead and submit. Now I'm still in the submission period. Okay. It's 4:25 now. While I'm still in the submission period, I can come to my answer and modify it. Okay. As long as the submission period did not end. Let me know if you would like to end the submission period now. Like if we all did it, okay. Noor, I did not add you to the course. Would you like to do this assessment now?
Sure, you can add me.
You go ahead. The course is called Introduction to Geography, and we have 9 minutes. As an instructor, before making it available to students, okay, you can always come here, and when you do edit, you can go to the assessment canvas and you can preview the assessment. So you can preview the submission, how the submission will look like here. Like you can go ahead and just preview it as an instructor. When you're doing the preview, it will tell you that this is a preview and it will not allow for a real submission. So you can just, see, this is how the question will look like for the students. Also click OK to go back to the assessment canvas, and you can also review the evaluation process. And here it
In
is.
creating these questions, is the only option to use text? Could you attach something?
Oh, yeah. Like when you are answering the question, let me go ahead and review the submission. When a student is answering a question, they can attach. Or you were asking about your ability as an instructor.
No, that I was looking for that. I just missed that. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for.
So the ability of the student to add attachments, right?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, then why don't you add an attachment? So, and then someone else will get to review that attachment. I was saying that you can also review the evaluation process. So, because this is anonymous, you won't get to see who you are evaluating, but you will get to see them like a user 1, user 2, user 3. And then you click on it and you will get the response. And the response should be here. Okay. So now you are evaluating what is your teaching philosophy. And as a student, you can get to see a model answer. You can go through the model answer and it will help you to make a judgment. So the first criteria is this is word count, allowed from 0 to 2 points. And here it tells you that the actual word count was 3. And this is the target, and this is the allowed variation. And you can go through the criteria, and you can give feedback to user. All right, let me know if we are all done. I can go ahead and close the submission period and start the evaluation period. How about this? How about if you are done, go ahead and raise your hand.
Walid, I have a question, please.
Sure.
So you, the box that you just opened right now that I see, is only available to the teacher, or is it available to the peers? Where you have access to the criteria.
All right. You mean this criteria?
Yeah.
Okay. What I'm doing right now, I'm mimicking a student evaluating another student.
Oh, I see. I see.
All right. So I'm accessing the criteria that I need to use as a student in order to judge this.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
All right, excellent. So I still have 4 people who did not finish yet. And this could happen, like someone might miss the submission. What happens if someone misses a submission? That student who will miss the submission will not be able to contribute in the evaluation, because it's not fair. You do not submit and then you get to evaluate others. I don't think this is actually fair game.
Me.
Go ahead.
Yes, hi. So after I submit, where shall I go to look at the other people as a student? Look at the other students.
So the submission has a period, and that once that period ends, okay, you cannot review your submission. Let me show you. Okay, so it says here the submission dates April 18 from 4:15 to April 18 4:35, and then evaluation period will start 4:36. So that's why I was asking everyone if they are done, so I can end the submission period early and then make and open the evaluation dates. It doesn't happen like this in the like in real life with with your students, you will have to tell them when they can do the submission and when the submission will end and when they can start doing the evaluation and when the evaluation period will end. The confusion right now is happening because we're trying to do everything within an hour, and this will not happen. Doing this activity requires at least a day, so you can give them few hours to submit and few hours to evaluate.
Another question, buddy.
Sure.
So when the students grade the other students' work, as an instructor, can I see exactly sort of the metrics of who is grading?
Absolutely, yes. You will get a screen and you will see who evaluated who and how before you actually release any grades.
But the student cannot see who is grading them and so on. So it's going to be sort of limited to them.
We will see now. Like I created this. When I created this, you will be able to see your feedback as a student from other graders, from other evaluators. We are 1 minute short of ending the evaluation, the submission period, and the evaluation period will start in 2 minutes. Shall I see everyone raising hands right now? Are we all done with the submission? You don't really need to tell us your teaching philosophy, just paste anything. All right, how if I go ahead and do this teaching philosophy? I'm gonna go and edit. I'm gonna edit the properties. Okay. So here I cannot, I can do this. And so like I just like wait for 1 more minute. I'm not gonna touch it. Okay. So we're working on here, like this one I created before, and you don't have access to this as students. So now I'm gonna go as a student. During that minute, okay, which is not submission nor evaluation, I will go ahead and click on View Complete Assessment. And it will tell me assessment is not available. So this is the period between the submission and evaluation. Just gonna wait until the clock turns 4:36. Yes, now it's 4:36. Let me go as a student and click on View and Complete Assessment. Remember, we have 10 minutes from now till 4:46. Now I have two students to evaluate, okay? I'm gonna click on user 1. I don't see their names because it's blind evaluation. It's anonymous. All right, so that's the response to what's your teaching philosophy? And that's a straight to, straight to on the word count. If I go to the next criteria, save and next. So the next criteria, does the teaching philosophy statement include own teaching values? See here, it's all or nothing, okay? Okay. Nothing was provided. This is feedback to that learner that I do not know who they are. And then I'm gonna save and go to next. And this is the third criteria. Does the teaching philosophy statement include a video description? I'm gonna go ahead and give 1. All right. And this is my feedback. Now I'm gonna submit. I'm done with the first student. See, the status is completed. Second student not started, and go ahead to user 2. I'm going to do the same. 2. So this student was cheating, okay? Like they included their name. So you probably will have to look out for this, because this might be a grade fixing way between the students. I'm gonna go and get my name. I'm gonna add my name there if you see me, because they don't know which ones they are going to evaluate. But if all of them agreed that they were going to include their names in the submission, I think like you might have a stand with all your students. So go ahead and save next criteria. And I'm going to allocate 2 points, no feedback, and then save. I'm going to allocate 1 point. I'm going to do feedback, save and submit. Now I'm done with the 2 evaluations. If you haven't started, you have 8 minutes to do this. You go ahead and click on View Complete Assessment and see the 2 students that we will have to evaluate, and go ahead and give them grades based on the criteria and provide feedback. What happens if I do and click View and Complete after I submitted my evaluation? I still can go ahead and change. So the submission period and the evaluation period, as long as these periods are open, okay, students can come back and change their either their submission or their evaluations. So I'm lowering your hands, and if you are done, go ahead and raise your hand. Raise up your hand if you're done with the evaluation process. Okay. I'm going to exit this. I'm going to keep the preview user. You see me like I'm using the preview user to participate in this activity as a real student. I'm going to show you my preview user in the results. But you only do this. Try it and then clear your footprints. Otherwise, it will skew the results. Like it will skew it here. All right, we still have 6 minutes before before this activity is closed. It's like 4:46. If you're done with the activity, please go ahead and raise up your hand. All right. One of the things that you can do as well is that you can export the assessment. You can export the entire assessment. Like you can tell one of your colleagues, I did this self and peer assessment in Blackboard, and since we're teaching the same course, here you are. You can use it in your course if you want, and you can send it in an email. It will generate a zip file that you can attach to an email message and send it to one of your colleagues. And here it is. I'm just using this tool to download. Start download. And that's the file. It will generate a zip file like this. You can go ahead and attach it to an email to one of your colleagues, or if you'd like to archive it, you can as well. And when you are creating a new self and peer assessment, you can choose to import. You don't have to create a new one. If you have it done before and exported, you can choose to import one. All right, we still have 4 minutes. Let me know if you are all finished. If you're done with the evaluation period or the evaluation task, please raise up your hand. I still have probably 4. Okay, excellent. And if you have any questions during these long 3 minutes, please let me know.
Rami,
Yes.
It seems that it automatically sort of exclude the person who submitted from grading himself, which is good.
Oh, when we do it, when I create a self and peer assessment, there is an option to make it to allow self-evaluation or not. In this activity that you're doing right now, we did not allow self-evaluation. That's why you were not able to see your own submission.
Okay, that's fine. That's I understand, and actually that's reasonable. The question that I have is, what if there are kind of assessment that it is a group assessment, and you want basically a group, like 2 people or 3 people, not being able to assess themselves?
All right, so this self and peer assessment cannot be a group activity. I'm sorry. Like, it will have to be like individual course students submitting individually and evaluating individually. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, I got it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Shall I go ahead and end it now? And even if someone did not do the evaluation, let's go ahead and see how this will affect the results. So I will end this at and if I go as a student, oh, so I still have access to it. Oh, but I have no access to change anything. All right. Now the everything is done. Submission is done. Evaluation is done. Let me exit and keep that preview user. So now, how, as an instructor, how to view the results? Now it's done. The results are available through the control panel under course tools, self and peer assessment. And it will list the all the self and peer assessment activities. The one that we took is the second one, which is teaching philosophy. And then you can view the submission, view the evaluations, and view the results. So as an instructor, you can go ahead and click view submissions, and you can see, I know that those students did not submit. So 0 of, yeah, probably because they were not here. Okay, so those did not submit. Let me click OK. But with those who submitted, you can click and view the submission or download it. And if you click view submission, you'll see here. That's the submission. It was one question, but we had two criteria. Okay, so let me go back to the self and peer assessments, And I will go and review evaluations. And here. So now this evaluation is done. It was done by this student evaluating these two students. And this is the points given to each student. Since this student did not submit, they don't get to evaluate. Is it clear? Excellent. And if you would like to see the evaluation, you can go ahead and click View Evaluation. This is the feedback to learner, like where the student can actually type like text feedback to the student being evaluated. Let me see if someone actually all right, so we have this feedback to learner here. And you can see that each criteria will display the allocated points and it will display the possible points. So this is, and here, possible points were 2. The evaluator allocated 1 for this criteria. Now let's go back to the assignment and see the results. So these are the results. It's the average percentage and the average score. And this is the score for this student. So if I choose to send this to the grade center, this student will receive 3 out of 6 available points. Let me keep this open and go to the course grade center. The grade center will show that I have a column for this activity. And the column is named after the activity's name. So the column itself doesn't have any grades yet, okay? So I'll go ahead and get the column quick information. And as you can see, the points possible, 6 points. That's exactly the points possible for the activity. So I can come here and view the result for this student. So the accumulation points is 1, 3. Okay. So this is from Dr. Muhammad, and this is from me. That's my review user. Okay. So this is my own evaluation to Noor. This is Muhammad's evaluation to Noor. And then what Blackboard did is calculated the average. So it's 2 plus 2, 4, 5, plus 1, 6 over 3. I'm sorry. 6 should be 6 over 2. And then it came with 3. Now you can stop here as an instructor, and stopping here, what you have achieved if you stop here and do not take this to the grade center, what you have achieved is that you give your students a venue for critical thinking and evaluation, analyzing ideas. Okay, you don't have to send this to the grade center. You don't have to send results to the grade center. You can go ahead and do manual review of everything, and then you go to the grade center and override this grade. So you can give them, you can grade them on their level of involvement, for example, like how much they were involved. You can grade them on the evaluation, not on the submission. You can grade them on both the submission and evaluation. And if you would like to have this score to contribute to the overall activity, you can come to the grade center and create another column. I'm going to call it teaching philosophy, instructor grade. So this column will have probably 100 points, or another that the other one is 6, for example. Okay, let's have this as 14. So this will be 14 points, and we'll have this score. What I'm doing right now is you can have the student evaluation contribute to something bigger. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to combine these two into one. I'm going to create a calculated column. I'm going to call it total column. I'm going to call it teaching philosophy, final grade. And that will be a total of these two columns. And then submit. So this column is what the student has gained from their own peers. And this is your own grade as an instructor. Like here, I'm going to grade this out of 14. I'm going to give Noor 12 out of 14. Okay, so now she has 12. Okay, I looked at Noor's activity in the SelfPeer assessment, and I gave her my grade as an instructor is 12. And then I will leave this to the students. And here I'm going to go ahead, click send results to grade center. Results have been sent to the grade center, and let me go ahead and refresh. And here it is. So this is the SelfPeer assessment. This is my own grade as an instructor as a manual column. And this is a column that I created to combine both of them. Why I'm doing this? Just in case you don't like the idea that you will leave it entirely for the students to evaluate themselves. Their evaluation can have a weight. Okay. In that case, their weight is, this is 6 and this is 14. That's 6 over 20. The weight is like 30%, or you have 70% in your pocket. Are there any questions? No questions? Is it that easy? All right. Are you going to use this?
Walid,
Yes.
so how the student can see the result of the evaluation?
All right. Let me go as a student. And then I will go to my grades. And then it says SelfPeer assessment. SelfPeer, I will click over it. I'm not sure why it's not viewable for this assessment. Let me go back. You know what? I've never seen this as a student, but let me just try. Okay, let me go back as an if I click on it, I see my own evaluations. Yeah, this is my own evaluation. It's not my own submission being evaluated. I'll have to get back to you on this. I'm really sorry, Dr. Muhammad. I just don't want to go and use time just going through screens and without giving you an answer. But I promise I will go and get you an answer how students will get their feedback.
Sure.
But then,
sure. Thank you.
but then Walid, if I may, so the students will probably have they will need to see the grades for their evaluation from other peers, and also a grade for their submission, probably, right? Or it's the grade.
So if I go to my grades, okay, when it says self and peer, okay, that's the grade from their peers, okay? It's over 6. Are you still with me?
Okay, yes, I'm listening.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is from their peers, and this is where I expected to have the detailed results.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, detailed submission evaluation results are not viewable for this assessment. And this is something that I expect to have in the properties of the assessment. It says show evaluation results to submitter. Yes. So this is what I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I will go ahead and find out why it's not available. And Dr. Arzaki, this is where the option for the allow self-evaluation. For this assessment, we did not allow self-evaluation.
Okay, great. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you very much. Any other questions? So no one answered my question. Are you going to use this in your course? Are you considering this?
I was thinking to use it for some sort of presentation, but unfortunately, because it doesn't work for group, I'm not quite sure. I have to think about it.
It doesn't work on what?
For groups.
For groups. So you would like to have groups evaluating other groups. Is that correct?
A student individually evaluating presentation by a group.
By a group. Yes, I understand that. So the group will have to have one submission. Yeah, and that's not possible. Like if a group member submits on behalf of the group and the other group members did not submit, so the group members who didn't submit will not have an opportunity to evaluate. But if you would like to have a group evaluating other groups, that can happen, but like each group will have one representative, a representative who submits for their own group, and that same representative will have the opportunity to evaluate other groups. So it's already past 5, unless you have any further questions. I can say thank you everyone for sparing the time and showing up for this workshop, and I hope that the information presented in this workshop will be beneficial to your teaching. Thank you very much.